Well, it's no secret the pursuit of happiness has become a pricey endeavor. Some might say a luxury. Something relatively simple, raising a family, no longer seems to be affordable. Government data shows raising a child can cost upwards of $330,000 from birth to age 18. That number was about $100,000 less a decade ago. It's just one aspect of everyday life that has Americans digging deeper into their wallets, and it's why the economy remains one of the top issues for voters as we look ahead to November. What's peculiar is that many signs point to a strong economy. The stock market hit record highs this month. The GDP, it's been growing since the pandemic. And unemployment, it's near a 50-year low. But many parents say their finances simply aren't following the trend. A survey from the Federal Reserve shows a declining number of Americans with children under the age of 18 say their financial well-being is in decent shape. It's at its lowest level since 2015. The same metric hit a record high in 2021 when parents were flush with expanded child tax credits given to them courtesy of the pandemic. The end of the program, however, in 2022 led to the so-called child care cliff, forcing parents to shell out more money to cover rising costs of childcare. Well, joining us now on set is Caleb Silver, editor-in-chief of Investopedia. I love all the dollar bills behind you because it's just so very germane to you. Okay, what's going on? Because seriously, we do have economically the strongest country on planet Earth. We've got all these signs pointing to great things, and yet it feels so crummy to so many people.
Yeah, it's a tale of two countries in a lot of ways, and really a tale of two economies. The shareholder class is doing wonderful right now. If you own assets like a home or real estate, those have risen in value. You're feeling pretty good about that. But for most people, especially renters, especially people on a lower income, you just feel like you can't get ahead because inflation is taking a bite out of everything you pay for. And it's not just the obvious things, right? It's food, it's shelter, it's childcare, but also interest inflation, insurance inflation. Everywhere you turn, you're paying higher prices. And while you may have gotten a small raise, it's just not enough to meet those higher prices.
And we keep hearing from the Biden administration, inflation is coming down, inflation's coming down, and it is coming down. But is it not coming down fast enough? Is it not coming down big enough?
Yeah, to be clear, the rate of inflation is slowing. We have what we call disinflation, where the rate of growth is slowing. Prices are not coming down, and nobody should expect prices to come down to 2019 levels. When prices get to these levels, they have sensitivity there. They stay there or they go higher, especially if there's demand. Now you're seeing a little bit of discounting, some cutbacks as the consumer pulls back. You heard it from McDonald's, you hear it from Wendy's and Target and Walmart. At the same time, though, this is just a struggle week in, week out for people earning the median income to pay those household bills. And that raising of a child, you mentioned that $310,000, that's just the basics. We're not even talking about summer camp. We're not talking about university, private university.
We're talking about the bare minimum.
The bare minimum.
We keep hearing, it'll just wait, all these things, all these indicators are going so strong, and it'll trickle down, and it'll take time, and you're going to feel great in a little while. Soon. Why is that true, first of all? And number two, why is it taking so long to feel good? Because we've been hearing that for many months now.
Yeah, that's a political promise in many ways, and things are the way they are. You can improve your own situation if you have the means to do so. So shareholders, as I said, have done great with a booming stock market, but we know the problem there is that 10% of the shareholders own about 70% of the market. They're enjoying the gains and the benefit of compounding. Asset owners, people that own real estate, multiple properties, that are renting those properties at higher and higher rent prices are doing great. But if you're one of those people on the other end, paying the rent, working the 9-to-5 job, sometimes working 2 jobs just to make ends meet, you feel like you can't get there. So there's a dissatisfaction with the economy as a whole, even though the numbers, the headline numbers are great.
Yeah, the Cook political report said that 54% of voters said cost of living was the best measure of how well the economy is doing. Otherwise, what I'm paying for at the grocery store for rent, that sort of thing. Only 6% said the stock market was a great, measurement. So there it is right there. We can look at all those records and think, holy cow, this economy's on fire. But people are not feeling it.
Yeah, it's a symbol of wealth. Look at all the symbols around us. It's a symbol of things doing well, and it does have a wealth effect. You want the stock market to do well. 60% of adults are invested one way or the other, a 401k, a 403b,
but
an
it's not
IRA.
enough.
It's not enough, especially not enough to get you to where you need to be by the time you want to retire, if you can retire. But there's also this pessimism, this drumbeat of pessimism around the economy, despite the headline numbers, where we know that 53% of independents think we're in a recession, 49% of Democrats think we're in a recession. The economy's growing right now. We're not in a recession.
We are not in a recession.
Yes, it's just this drumbeat of bad news that makes people feel like we're in one, and that inflation, the rate of inflation is not slowing. It actually is. So they don't actually see the headline numbers or feel them. That's the real feel of the economy, not translating, of course, to how the way people feel about whether or not this administration is doing right by them or whether things are going to get better.
Thanks so much for watching. Go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.